Right, I've never had to do this for an intro, but welcome into Still Talking. Natalie Pike. She's an award-winning presenter, a radio and TV broadcaster, a massive Manchester City fan, and someone who's built an incredible career in sports media, football and horse racing, but also has a podcast with Sam Allardyce. I just needed to add that in at the end because Big Sambo's a legend. Welcome in, Nat.
Thank you so much. That was a brilliant introduction. Well done.
Thank you. Well, I feel like, you know, the Karate Kid, I feel like the kid here learning off the master. I do, so I feel like I should pass it on to you.
Well, thank you.
You know, you're a pro in the game. I just want to give you flowers and compliments like I haven't already off camera. I want to do it on camera. You are a pro. You should be sitting here.
Right back at you because you are smashing it in the social media world. Like, I love your stuff. I love the positive stuff. We don't see enough of it. So you do. I'll be the Karate Kid for social media and we'll switch on podcasts.
We'll switch just for these 90 minutes.
Yeah.
The first thing I want to go on to is, are you a glory hunter?
Yes, absolutely. Started supporting City when the club was bought.
I knew it.
No, I mean, sadly not. I started supporting City in 1993. So I moved to Manchester when I was 10. So you can do your quick maths on how old I am. And my mum's boyfriend then was a City fan. So when I was 10, he started taking me to the games in 1993. And I got my first season ticket in 1998. And I saved my pocket money up for a year. My Christmas money, my pocket money, my birthday money. It was 150 quid. And I bought my own season ticket when I was 15.
Wow. I have never had a season ticket at Everton Football Club.
Why?
No. It's kind of like, it's not for me to speak on because of my family, but like, just in like affording it and like, you know, money.
Are they hard to get?
They can be, but it's not even that. Like, we've never joined the queue. We would always like just scamper for like tickets we could get to certain games.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not saying like the price entire. I just mean like it can be a lot of money. For my family growing up, it weren't always the best choice to put a large sum towards it. But the waiting list is long too.
Yeah.
How does it feel working with the club that you've supported for so many years?
It's ridiculous. Like, honestly, if you could go back to me at 15 buying a season ticket in 1998 when they were in Division 2 and telling me that I'd be doing what I'm doing. I mean, it's mad as well because the players from that team in 1998 are people that I would class as friends now. So like Sean Goater, Paul Dickoff, Nicky Weaver. I work with them so much.
That's cool.
I know, right? If you'd have gone back to 15-year-old me and said, you know, see those guys you're celebrating, like, you know,
you're in the stands and you're like cheering.
In my blue ribbons that I used to wear in my hair. Yeah, it's nuts to think that I would never have believed it.
How did you get to the position to work with the club?
Yeah, it's mad. It's a mad story. It's just like everybody that I know who's in this world has like a different story of how they got there. So for me, I was in university. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. So I went to university and did a media degree because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I just wanted, 3 years of kind
Before
of
you carry on, university is a very topical point. Do you regret going to university, or you're still back it?
It's a great question. My university degree, I would confidently say, taught me nothing, but cost me. I was in my 30s still paying my degree. So, I mean, taught me nothing. Oh God, maybe a little bit. Maybe that's a little far. I mean, I did a film and media degree and I really enjoyed it because we got to watch films and we got to learn about them. So I really enjoyed learning about like the propaganda of films and, we did a big segment on the Vietnam War that I really, but for life, has it really taught me anything? Not really.
Just cost you a lot of money.
Just cost me money into my 30s when I was paying it off. Yeah. Having said that, I would still say anyone that's 18, go to uni because
would you?
Don't like put off getting a full-time job. Just like put off getting into this real world as long as you can.
So you'd say put off like growing up too quick, like go and experience and live.
Definitely.
I sometimes think about that. I'm 22 and like I've been full-time for 3-4 years now, and I went into content and social media so quick, and I'm very lucky to the position I'm at, but not everyone gets to this position.
Yeah.
But like you grow up so quick. You're in business meetings, you're talking about business, and your content, it just turns into different, I think.
Have you travelled or anything?
Yeah, I just came back from Australia with the UFC.
Okay, yeah.
I have travelled and I'm so grateful for it. But the first 2-3 years, I was in my mum's bedroom, which I'm still in now. I was there editing, uploading, streaming, editing, uploading. So like, yeah, I get what you mean. Like, don't rush into adulthood.
Definitely. But then not a lot of 17, 18-year-olds have got that level of work ethic then that you had. So like, well done you for using that and jumping on it when you at the time when you've had the chance. And
yeah, I got to thank my mum and dad for that, which I want to get onto your dad.
Oh, yeah.
Not yet, though. Yeah. Not yet. What I want to go back to is, you're working in around the Man City scene, you're interviewing, I seen your video on the pitch, fantastic, and it actually blew up. Great song choice, by the way. I really, really like it.
Thank you.
And I seen your caption, like, everyone's saying I'm milking it, but I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
I agree. I would not milk. I would milk the hell out of it.
Oh, yeah, that had like 9 million views, that video.
I would not care what anyone said. Yeah. I would milk it. When Everton win a Premier League.
I like your when there.
Don't start throwing shade over here.
No, you believe.
I've got confidence. What is, like, have you got a favourite moment, or like when you go into work and, you see behind the scenes, have you got like a favourite thing that you don't normally speak about that often, but probably appreciate so much?
You know what? I love the people that work behind the scenes in the stadium, like the security people that I always say hi to on the door, the guys that work in the press room, like Paul, Brian, Ernie, like the old men. They won't mind me saying that have been there for a long, long time.
The people that make the club move.
Yes, they've seen it all. And they're the same people. They're still there, and you say hi to them every week. And the normal people, that the reminder that the normal, like the footballers are the superstars. Obviously, they're the whole focus. But it's like the normal, proper, working class people behind the scenes that make the club.
It wouldn't be possible without them, would it?
Fully.
I get exactly what you're on about. When you're meeting the likes of these stars, you call them stars, but the humans at the end of the day, but the whole world sees them as stars. The footballers. Do you still get starstruck?
No, I don't get starstruck. I think the most important thing, and I bet you'll feel this as well, for anybody that's working with footballers, the most important thing I think is to treat them like absolute normal people. Because often what I find with footballers is the reputation and the things that go on, it's the people around them, it's not them, because they're still normal people, but the people around them suddenly start treating them like they're fragile objects that you can't speak to, like don't look them in the eye, and they're just normal people, so just treat them that way. I get it, just treat them normal, because they are normal. Yeah. And I've learned it so much more by the friendships I've built with Everton, which I'm so grateful with. They're just the same as us. They're put on a higher pedestal. Is that the way to describe it? Yeah, definitely. Like, there's more eyes and pressure on them. But I totally get that vibe of like the pressure of like, don't look at them, don't speak to them. But you see it on shoots, and it's the first time people have been around like Premier League footballers, and everybody goes the vibe, like the mood changes in the room, and everybody goes weird. And I'm thinking, they're just normal. Yeah, they're just normal people. Yeah. Have you got like a particular moment that you, like, from the start of when you started meeting, let's say, stars or famous like people, to now, comparing it, like the first time you met Haaland, for example, but compared to now when you meet him? Yeah. I mean, I suppose that's just in general. I mean, because I'm so blessed that I get to work with, I was on the Matchday Live show for City that I present. Yeah. So we'll have former players on that, sort of from the recent times, say like Sean Wright-Phillips, Jolien Lescott, Neda Manua, Steph Houghton. Lescott, man, legend. Yeah, obviously, Everton. Yeah, thanks for that, by the way. And then to the older players that I mentioned, it is like thinking about the fact that I used to watch them and now I work with them regularly. I mean, that's probably the most, like, the mind-blowing bit. The first time you meet them, it's like, God, I watched you when you did this, and this, and now they're people that you just work with constantly and, can hang out with and go for a drink with. And yeah, I think that's the kind of moments where you go, oh, wow. It is interesting. Look, I want to talk about Man City all day, but at the same time, I want to dive more into you. Okay. You know what I mean? I'm glad we've established I'm not a glory hunter, though, because that is generally the first question anybody ever asks. Yeah, because I just thought I'd put it in the brief, because everyone always calls Man City fans glory hunters. Yeah. Because you've won a lot recently. So it's nice to know you're not a glory hunter. It wouldn't change home and away, Oh, I loved it. I used to go home and away, like when my early, late teens, 20s, used to go home and away. I've travelled all around Europe. I went to watch City play CSKS Moscow. Like, I used to go everywhere. So talk to me then about when your career took off, where you couldn't go as home and away, or talk to me about that when did that happen for you? Yeah, so I even when I was in my 20s and I was modelling, so I modelled full time when I was in my 20s and I travelled all over the country, I'd always get back for home games. So no matter where I was in the country, I'd always be back. I wouldn't miss a home game. But I stopped the away games. But then I went back to a period in my early 30s where I was going back to all the away games again. It's only in the last 4 years where I've been working every City game, home and away. So we do the away games from a studio and the home games in the stadium. So it's only now I do every away game in the studio, with the exception of like the Champions League final, the FA Cup final, when we're there pitch side. And I do miss it, and it's just one of those, and it's, I don't want to sound ungrateful in the slightest. I adore my job.
Of course.
Sometimes I do miss just getting the train,
being in the
having
fan,
a drink,
yeah,
going to the ground with my mates.
I get it.
Yeah.
I so get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I so get it. I can
Nothing
relate
like
to
an
you.
away game, is there?
There's nothing like just being at a game, but in the, I'm very grateful. I sit in the media of Everton and it's nice and that, but sometimes, you can't celebrate because the journos have got to do the job.
Yep. That's why I sit in at City, yeah.
You can't celebrate because the journos have got to do the job, and I'm respectful to them. But like, I used to sit in Park End and that's facing the away end, and like we used to scream back and forth at each other, and I miss them little bits.
I know, yeah.
It is good. It is good when you think about it. Pep Guardiola, don't worry, I'm not going to put you in any position. Do you think he's the greatest manager of all time?
I think that we often have recency bias. Obviously, when you've got to talk about Sir Alex Ferguson, clearly, even though, obviously from the other side of the city.
He's a rival.
Yeah. I mean, when you're having that conversation, people talk about the two of them. My recency bias sees that the way that Pep Guardiola's changed football, not just Manchester City.
That was actually in me notes.
Yeah. The way he's changed football from every single level down to the way that kids are playing it. And so 4 Premier Leagues in a row. Obviously, the difficult season we're having. I think Pep will cement himself as the greatest ever when City come back from this.
Oh, when? Oh, yes. You used when this time.
Yeah, when? Because we will. We have to be optimistic.
I like how bubbly your energy is, man. It really helps us, like a guest to host. Like, as much as I'm going through a brief and I'm going off topic every now and then, I sometimes like to just appreciate like what's going on here. Like, we're just two people having a chat
talking about football
in the middle of a podcast. We're talking about football, but now I want to dive into you.
Okay.
So we talk about megastars, Haaland, De Bruyne, footballers, the people who work for Man City. They go under the radar megastars. I want to talk about the one megastar in your life, your son.
Oh yeah, Reggie.
Talk to me.
He's really excited that I'm here. He is a YouTube fanatic. He's 7 and he just YouTube's all he watches. YouTube, yep. Like
how cool is it to have a child? I don't have children. What's it like having a child?
You're going to love it. You're going to love it one day. It's the greatest thing ever. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do. And again, this is why you need to go travel the world and have fun.
Experience.
And yes, do everything that you possibly can at your age. It's the greatest thing in the world, but it is also the hardest thing in the world. It's like, sometimes it feels like you've done a full day's work before you go to work. And sometimes I get to a game or get to somewhere that I'm working and, I've already been up since 6 and I've already, got him ready, done his packed lunch, made his tea for that evening so that my dad just needs to, heat his tea up, got his ladies football kit out or his rugby kit out or whatever club he's got after school. Like, it feels like you've done a job before you go to a job, but he inspires me to just be better. And I know it's really, really corny, but he inspires me to follow my dreams. And I only started doing this full-time 4 years ago, and partly it was because of him. And it was like, well, if I didn't have the balls to do it full-time, that's the truth. I worked for City and I had a 9-to-5 job. So it's only 4 years ago that I said, no, I'm going to do this full-time. And it was partly because of him, because I have to show him.
Why didn't you have the balls to do it?
Mate,
lack of confidence?
It's a huge imposter syndrome to this day. I think it's definitely a case of like seeing it to believe it as well. Because when I was growing up, there was no women in the media. There was there was a very, very, few couple of women that worked, like on the BBC. Helen Chamberlain was my icon growing up. She presented Soccer AM because she was the only woman I saw on TV.
Yeah.
But in football. But it never crossed my mind that it would be something that I could do. So I just never pursued it, even though I wanted to, even though I had a passion for it, like presenting and City. I just never thought that I could.
So that imposter syndrome that you saying that come from a younger age, not seeing as many role models.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you see yourself as a role model?
Oh God. I think there's better people than me to be role models.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh,
I wouldn't say that about yourself because I think Reggie looks as you're a role model. I think I had Stumpeg on the couch. She's a brilliant role model. You know, I think
she's phenomenal.
You're on the same vibe. You're thriving so much in your career, achieving so much. I feel like when I compliment you, your smile goes wider and wider.
Thank you. It's really nice.
Do you take compliments well?
No.
Why?
I'm one of those people that will get 10 compliments and one negative and only hear the negative.
Can I've done a bit of research, and I don't know if you touch on the modelling a lot, but do you think that comes from that?
This is like a therapy session for me now. Yeah, it definitely could be. You know, it definitely could be.
And anything you don't want to speak about, just I don't mind.
I'm absolutely. There's no shame in my past for me whatsoever. Although, you know, every now and again, people will still try and shame me by saying, like 20 years ago, she used to be in men's magazines. And I'll be like, yeah, no, I'll tell everybody that. You've not caught me out. It could be.
I don't understand that. When I say I don't understand that, I don't get why people would say that to you.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to aim at is, do you think how criticising modelling can be has probably affected you after the modelling stage?
100%. So I had a modelling agent where I used to have to phone my weight in every Friday. And I think when you come from that world where, and then if your weight had gone up, it'd be like, okay. And then I ended up having to keep a diary of everything that I'd eaten.
Whoa.
Yeah, mate. Like, but hey, we're talking pretty much like you would have been 1 or 2 at the time. It was a different time, honestly.
Oh no, it was a different time, but that surely still happens now to a different degree.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You had to track your weight every week, every Friday. And then you had to write down what you ate. And if you were overweight, your agent's like, I don't think you're getting any work this week.
Well, it wasn't a thing, and it wasn't overweight. Like, we're talking about, like, if I'd put on half a pound or a pound, it'd be like, what have you done? And then I remember I'd been working really hard and I'd lost some weight, and then I got this job where it was an advert for a catalogue. It was a big thing at the time, and I was wearing underwear and I was walking along the street to this bus stop, and my agent, she was like, "See, I told you what could happen when you lost weight."
Is that the same agent now?
God, no. I stopped, mate. It wasn't for me. I stopped modelling when I was like 28. I only modelled full time for about 7 or 8 years, and then I went and got a normal full time job, and I had a normal 9 to 5 for 10 years. I loved the modelling. I'm grateful. I travelled the world. I was on the covers of the biggest magazines in the world, and it gave me incredible experiences. But God, no, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
I don't even comprehend, because I'm not in that position, and I never will be in that position. Like, you've experienced it, I never will. I just I've got a partner, you know, and confidence is a big thing in everyone. How can a job challenge someone's confidence so much on how they look when they can't change that? If that makes sense. Is that weird to say? Like, how can that even happen?
Yeah, it's weird. I guess that is the modelling world, obviously, where you are completely and utterly judged and chosen because of the way that you look.
That's got to affect you mentally. There's no way it doesn't.
Yeah, I think still to this day, I think about my weight more than my friends do. And like, I'm nearly 42 years old and I still think about my weight. And I think that does come from that. This is a good therapy session. I've never thought about that, you know, Ryan.
I'm sorry.
No, I like it. I appreciate it.
Because I just think, like, when you go through such a routine in life of doing the same thing over and over again, and you're not even looking at you and saying, I love you for you. You're looking at you going, do you love me? Because then I'll love me, because I've got my next job.
Definitely. That's the way to look at it, yeah. It also does teach you a huge amount of resilience, though, because you do, and in this world as well that we're in, you do get no, you hear no all the time. So it does help you build a level of resilience, definitely.
Of like rejection resilience?
Yeah, definitely. It's like, it's, you know, you don't get every job. You get 1 in 10 jobs or 1 in 5 jobs. So it's like,
it's very good. That's a very good skill to take on later in life. Coming back to obviously you're a mother, balancing motherhood and career. I know what it's like doing content, you know.
Yeah.
Look, as much as people see the end product and the final finish in the video you on the pitch, there's a lot of behind the scenes, the prepping, the briefing, the podcasts, the talking to businesses, the having conversations, and it goes on. I don't, if I'm missing anything, please add to it. Like, it goes on and on. Yeah. Editing, reviewing, posting, whatever it is.
Watching football, you have to keep watching football all the time, reading about football.
Well, I know that might not sound hard to the audience, but it's like when you're self-employed kind of vibe and you're getting different jobs, there's no time off. You've got to keep going because you don't know when your next job is. How do you balance both?
Sometimes I really don't. I'm trying to get better at balancing and giving myself time off and giving myself like the old self-care thing. But I don't. I often get burnt out at the end of a football season, especially like because City have been done so well over the last 4 years. I mean, the 4 years that I've been freelance, City have won the league every year.
It's kind of worked perfect, doesn't it?
Yeah, City have won the league. They've got like, we were at the Champions League final, then I presented the treble parade. And then by the end of that season, come the middle of June, I was burnt out, like physically, mentally, like burnt out, exhausted. And again, I don't want, like, I'm so grateful for I absolutely love my job. I don't want that to sound ungrateful in the slightest.
Doesn't, I promise you. Yeah. And if anyone takes it that way, they've took it the wrong way. That's not your intention.
Not in the slightest.
I watched a lot of your content and I was mentioning your dad before and how much I love the content with him. Shout out to your dad, by the way. Is it Colin?
Yeah.
Colin. Shout out to Colin because he's an absolute legend.
He really is.
A lot of people don't have that close connection with their mum and dad. Why do you?
So I don't have a relationship with my mum, so I have just have my dad in my life. I have a really, really tiny family. So basically, there is me and Reggie and my dad that live here. Yeah. My dad moved down to near Manchester, 3 or 4 years ago when I started doing this from the Scottish borders. When I was going through a divorce and decided I was going to work freelance, single parenting, and my dad said, I'm going to come and help you. And he sold his house in Scotland and he moved down here. So it's just the three of us down here. I've got a brother and an auntie and uncle in Scotland, an auntie and uncle and cousins in Australia, and that's it. They're the only family. But
it's a very compact family, but it's spread across the world.
Yes, it's tiny. So it's basically like day to day, it's just me, my dad and Reggie. My dad's football nuts though, so that, it helps. My dad is absolute football. He
helps you keep up to date and also take care of Reg.
Yeah. So I have my son Monday to Friday, and if I'm ever working, any point doing this right now, Reggie's with my dad.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yep.
Grandson and granddad vibe.
And they were going to the park to play football as I left.
Oh my God.
Yep. With a swerve ball though. So we'll see how my dad deals with that. I'll find out.
Ultimate goals though, like, and for a dad to just sell up and say, no, I'm coming down because I see my daughter, she needs me, even if she's not asking for it. Yeah. And my grandson needs me. What a man that is.
Yeah.
Like,
so blessed.
Cool. That's so cool. I seen on your Instagram in your highlights of 2024, you went through all these amazing things. And then at the end, you said about a healed heart. I just want to ask now, are you okay now? Are you okay?
You.
I feel like so sometimes you're so in the middle of things and you can be so go.
Yeah.
Sometimes you forget to ask yourself, like, are you okay?
Do you know what? It's funny, like, that's really nice of you to ask. Thank you. I'm okay today. I've not been okay this week. I've been getting a lot of trolling lately. I think it's just the rise in the way that the internet is working. I've been getting a lot of trolling lately. A lot of trolling on, like, I've deactivated my Twitter.
It can be a volatile app.
I got to the point with Twitter where I thought, why you can't get away from it. You're reading it. Whereas like on Instagram, just don't look at the comments.
Yeah.
Like, but you can't get away from it. So I've been getting a heck of a lot of trolling this week and trolling on other places as well. Like there was this Man City fan podcast that was slagging me at the weekend that people were sending me. So it's been a lot this week, but I'm all right because what I did was I told people I wasn't all right. And I spoke to a few of my friends and said, this isn't happening. It feels like it's piling up at the minute. I'm not coping great. And the support I've had this week from my friends has just been brilliant. Like even City, like the people that I work with at City have been phoning me saying, you're all right, just checking on you, you're all right, you're appreciated. Like, and
really nice.
It's really nice. And so, yeah, I feel much better today. It just comes in peaks and troughs, mates. Like, and I'm sure like anyone that works in this world has it as well. Ask me again next week and I'll be great.
Be on top of the world.
Yep.
City of one.
Won't. Yeah. Will they? City of one, please. Yeah.
It'll change. And I know exactly what you mean. But in there, it sounds like there's a massive lesson because it sounds like this week you've learned the biggest thing is to talk to people about it.
100%.
Have you feel like in the past maybe you haven't and you've kept it built up?
Because you don't want to look weak. Especially as a woman working in football, you don't want to look weak.
You don't want to show weakness.
Yeah. Don't want to, and you also don't want the trolls to think that it has upset you.
It's so interesting because you're only human, man.
Right.
And I don't want to, it's cliche saying all this and people will watch it. And I'm sick of saying it. You know what? Nah. Anyone who says, piss off, Ryan, you piss off because it's right. At the end of the day, you're only human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when that camera goes off, you go home to your dad's and Reg, and you don't need that shit, man.
Right. And
you don't need it.
I'm just a girl that loves a job, that loves football, that's landed the dream job for me, that gets paid to watch and talk about football. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not hurting. I don't ever hurt anybody.
I'd get it if you were a knobhead.
Yeah.
I'd get it.
If my content was about arguing with people.
I'd get it if you were a negative Nancy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't get. But then that's where self-reflection comes in. You go, them people who are directing hate and hate on someone, there's something not right in their lives.
Oh, right.
So that's where you've got to have sympathy. Gary Vee speaks about it massively. Shout out to him, mate. Do you know who Gary Vee is?
I do, yes.
He's fantastic. He teaches so much. Like, you got to have sympathy for that person hating.
Oh, definitely.
Like, they're in a bad position altogether. And I want to bring it back to the family on the more positive side.
Yes.
Yeah, get off the trolls.
Yes.
Would you say, you mentioned it before, like you took that step because of your son?
Yeah.
The full-time step.
Yeah.
Would you say your biggest drive is family?
I'd say, it's one of my biggest drives. Yeah, I mean, no, it probably is. I want to provide Reggie with a life that I didn't have, just because my parents, you know, they worked hard. There was nothing against them in the slightest, but I want to create a life for Reggie where it's a safe house. You know, I want to be the house where all the kids come over, and I'm really blessed because of the job that I do. Most of the time, I pick him up from school. I take him to school and I pick him up at 3:15, and I know that that is like, for parents, that is gold dust. So many parents don't have that because they have to work 9-to-5 jobs.
Even longer now because of the cost of living.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm so blessed that and I'm at everything. I'm at every school play. I volunteer on every school trip. I'm at everything. I've been in the school and done a talk about my job. Like, my job has enabled me to have that with Reggie. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the biggest drivers.
I see how much you mentioned being there for your son. Do you feel like you never had that as much as you'd want?
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult because, like I say, both my mum and dad worked long 9-to-5 jobs. My dad, you know, we were talking about it not long ago. My dad worked a 9-to-5 and then he drove a taxi in the night as well. We went to a childminder because we had to, and I don't want that for Reggie. If I can, whatever I can do to be there to pick him up from school. Obviously, it's not every night because if City play, I'm working.
Yeah.
But to be there to pick him up from school, honestly, is like one of my life ambitions.
So cool listening to you speak about a man you admire, which is your dad, and your son, who will one day be a man who you also admire. Like, it's so cool, the respect and the love and the passion you have for them. I get such an emotional feeling when you're speaking about your son, of course, about if you could drop everything today, all you'd want to do is be there for him.
Oh, yeah.
What? I just, in my head, it's hard to comprehend because I haven't got children, but
it's mad, isn't it?
It's interesting. It's so interesting, like, you drop everything like that for your son, and I get it. I get it all day, and what I'm trying to get to is like, wow, the love you have for that single person in the whole entire world, that you drop everything for in that single moment.
If you have kids one day, it's hard to explain. It's like that. Like, the second that the child is growing, it's like that. And that's it. That's it. It just grows from then.
Wow. Going from the family to the next topic is horse racing.
Oh, yeah.
You're massive in horse racing. You love it.
Yeah.
You do a lot of presenting in it.
Yeah, I do. So I work for a channel called Race Day TV, which is a really big social media channel.
You do a lot of public interviewing on race days, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And essentially, and I hold my hand up right now and say, I do not have an in-depth technical knowledge of horse racing, but that is not my job to have that. And that is, like, almost as well, like what I say to people in football as well, my job is not to tactically break down the play for you.
Yeah.
My job is to be the presenter, the person that asks the questions to the people that do that. And in horse racing, my job is to show people that you don't need a technical knowledge of horse racing to love and enjoy the sport. So when we're going out, we're speaking to people about the day they're having. Are you having a great time? Like, what's the best thing about Cheltenham? Like, you're here, and they're like, we're here with the mates. It's a day out. So my job is to show that horse racing is for everybody, and you don't need that knowledge. And I love that.
I read up somewhere that you've been very vocal on increasing women coming into horse racing.
Yeah.
I want to take it to a broader scale and include everything, like women being involved in more sports. Do you you see horse racing behind other sports in terms of like how behind it is?
No, mate, it's the other way around.
Is it?
I think it's
Is it
the other
ahead?
way around. It's ahead in so many ways. It's ahead in how accepting they are of women punters. First of all, like horse racing, I find is really accepting of everybody. So sometimes it has a reputation of being like, for posh people. I mean, it's really not. It is a total, like you can be upper class, you can be working class, go to a big race day and there's everybody of every type there.
Everyone wants to enjoy it.
Everybody's there. In terms of like behind the scenes, there's incredible women trainers, incredible women owners, women jockeys. There's women that work all over race courses now. And I have found since I worked in horse racing that people are just really accepting and there isn't actually really a question about the fact that you're a woman, and you can't say that in football.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I find it, I love being honest and transparent. I find it very difficult from me being a male to ask a question on inclusiveness and diversity of women in sports and like job roles. I just find it very weird for me to even ask that, but I feel like it's important for me to raise awareness on it. But because I've never experienced it, it's difficult.
Yeah.
To, you know
but
what I
that's
mean?
really good that you're aware of that.
I'm aware of it, but I just like being honest with the audience that watches that it's difficult to ask because as much as I can ask as much and try and learn as much, I'll never fully understand. And that's I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it's called, but I'll never fully understand what a woman who struggles in an environment or organisation or whatever it is goes through. When you talk about horse racing and football, do you have one thing that you enjoy most?
Oh,
like in terms of, let's go from watching the event to, I don't think you can say fans maybe, because I feel like all people are people.
Yeah. I don't, I love the variety that my job has. I love being out on a race course talking to people that are there. I love being in a studio talking to ex-professionals and picking their brains on what we've just seen. And I love being pitch side on home games and just mucking around and having a laugh. And I love sitting in a podcast studio. So no, I like the variety. What I like is the variety.
Well, it's funny you say that because I had a question in my mind of like, would you ever just one day do one thing?
No.
And you strike me as a woman who loves the variety and the excitement of, I've got Man City here, but I've got to get to this race. But then I've got Reggie's play. And then you've got so many different things circling, which can be a little bit chaotic sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, fully, but it's the buzz as well. What just came to my mind as well is I do reporting for Talk Sport. So
cool.
And do you know what? At the minute, that's probably my most favourite thing that I do because I get to travel the country going to football and I have to watch it on my own with headphones on and nobody can talk to me and I get to focus on the game because
zone in
on the game. The only time I get to zone in on a game is when I'm reporting for Talk Sport, because if I'm in a studio, it's City, and again I love it, but I'm chatting to Sean, like last night me and Sean Wright Phillips were eating pizza and chatting to each other while we watch the game.
Yeah.
But when I'm there reporting, you're just watching the game.
So you zoned in.
Yes.
Kind of like noise cancelling headphones on.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it is. Even if someone comes up to talk to you, like,
yeah, like see you later. Yeah, I totally get it. Speaking of podcast studios, you do a podcast with Sam Allardyce.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. How did that come along? Do you enjoy it, of course? What's Sam like?
Yeah.
Talk to me.
He's a ledge. So it's called No Tippy Tappy Football. Obviously, he came up with the name.
Oh, what a name, by the way.
Clearly he did. And
Tippy Tappy Football.
Tippy Tappy,
straight through one.
Right.
To the centre half. Great.
Oh, Sam's very happy, by the way, about the swing we're getting this season and the amount of long balls we're getting. A goalkeeper giving an assist is like Sam's dream.
Oh, it's just all day.
Like, he loves it. So we started doing it in the World Cup 2.5 years ago, and it was just supposed to be an 8-episode World Cup podcast. And I got invited on to do it with Sam because I'd worked with a production company on a previous podcast. And it was just supposed to be 8 episodes. And it was Sam opening his little black book and getting his mates in, essentially, that he knew. And we just loved it, and it went really well, and he loved it. And then it got commissioned to the end of the season. Then he went to Leeds for 4 games, so we had the excitement of that, and we got Tim Sherwood who stepped in for 4 games, and then we just kept doing it. So we did it for the season after, and we've been doing it this season, and he loves it. Like, you can see, it almost makes me feel sad sometimes, to be honest, because the love that man has for the game, and I can see it breaks his heart that he's not in the game still.
Well,
daily.
that was my next question. Can you see Sam ever coming back to manage?
He'd snap your hand off, 100%.
And then you'd be
I know.
co-host Dan.
I always say that to him, like, oh, have you been offered the Blackburn job? If Bolton phoned you, like, worried that he's going to do it, but I think he would say to you that he'd rather have a director of football position at this point, but I don't believe him.
How old, Sambo?
70.
70 years of age.
He's a young 70, you know.
I know, it doesn't strike me that he's 70.
Yeah, 70.
Like, what's his energy like? Is he?
It's great.
Is he?
Yeah, he's great. He just loves the game. He just loves the game. He loves talking about the game. He loves it. Clearly, like, he comes in and he's just, the second he comes into the studio, he's like, blah, 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 like his wife must be like, stop talking to me about football.
Yeah,
so he gets
in the studio, he just vomits everywhere. Like, he has to get it out before he goes home. If you had to describe that man in 3 words, Sam Allardyce, what would it be?
Oh gosh, I mean, legend, underrated, and dry.
Oh, dry is a good one.
He's dry, but massively underrated. Do you know, I didn't appreciate it. We get
underrated as a manager or as a person?
Both. The guests that we get on the podcast, I mean, we have unbelievable. We had David Moyes on before he went back.
You had my friend on, Sammy Smoddox.
We did. He told us the story about you.
What'd he say?
Do you want it?
What'd he say?
So he just won the Golden Boot with Blackburn.
Yeah.
And they'd gone out on their end. They stayed up and they'd gone out on their end of season. Yeah. Do you know this?
You
remember? They'd gone out on their end of season drinks in town. And then all of a sudden he said his phone started to go and it was you just calling him. And apparently you were like, I'm outside the venue. Like, I'm outside wherever they were drinking. Come and see me.
Well,
so he was like celebrating his Golden Boot and came outside to chat to you.
Well, Sammy, you little bugger, you never told the full story. Me and Sammy were speaking for weeks before because we've got the same barber, Joe. Shout out to him. I actually need to go and get an haircut. But we were speaking weeks before and I wanted to do content with him.
Yeah.
He was flying. I was like, lad, it'll be perfect. Some say I might have dealt with the Ipswich deal. Who knows? Publicity exposure.
I was saying that because he came on our podcast. So I was saying that between the two
commission.
of us. Yeah.
We want commission. I said to his agent when I seen him, I want 5% commission. Yeah. But I was messaging him and he was like, I'm in Manchester. I'm on celebrating. So I've grabbed the lad who I do short form with in my content. Drove all the way down to Manchester. Parked up, ran to this venue. I was like, Sammy, what's happening? I'm outside. He's come outside. We've done this piece. Got like 1 million views.
Stop.
Me and Sammy, basically, the rumour was, I've never actually told this story.
Okay.
It's well done. This is why she's a pro at what she does. So basically, Sammy Smoddox was rumoured to go to Everton and he was heavily doing content with me. Yes. So everyone was like, Agent Ryan, please get him to the Blues. Please get him to the Blues. Everyone was like, Agent Ryan. And I don't have a clue as much as I'm close to them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a clue. That's their life. And I thought, as a creative, how can I take advantage of this situation of everyone thinks he's coming to the Blues and make it blow up? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I thought, okay, I've got a StillGANG blue hoodie.
Did you put it on him?
I'll go down and we'll get a photo with it and we'll hold it up like it's a shirt and we'll blur out the shirt. So I blurred it out but made sure you could see it was blue. And then that was the hook. And then the whole thing was like, I'm surprising Sammy Smoddox. And then we surprised him and his reaction was like, oh, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. And everyone was like, oh my God. And it blew up.
Genius.
But he ended up signing for the wrong blue and went Ipswich. But yeah.
It's like he couldn't get further away as well.
I know, he signed for the wrong blue. But that creative idea was great. And I'll always, to this day, till the day I die, I will say, I helped Sammy Smoddox fulfill his dream. Sign for a Premier League club. Thank you.
Much deserved.
Thank you. I still want commission on it, by the way.
Sammy, you owe him.
Yeah, he knows he does. We were talking on people who you had on the podcast. You had David Moyes.
Yeah.
You can see what he's recently done with Everton.
Unbelievable.
He took us 15 points away from the bottom 3.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Unreal, mate. Yeah.
You've interviewed him. You've sat down. What can you see from the interactions you've had with him? The traits of a successful man. And, you know, near enough everything he touches turns to gold. Like, he won silverware for West Ham. He's come back to Everton after his 10-year reign in the past and he's got his 15 points out of the bottom 3. Like, what can you see in him when you sat down, the trait he sustains.
So he came onto the podcast literally 2 or 3 weeks after he'd left West Ham. And what immediately stood out for me was how calm and composed he was. And he would not baited, that's not the right word, because we don't do that, but we were asking questions about West Ham.
Which isn't easy when you've just...
Exactly. And also, we always take viewer and listener questions. So people had asked questions about West Ham, and he wouldn't be drawn into any negativity about West Ham. He wouldn't say a single negative thing. And again, just to say, we wouldn't bait him into that.
You've got to ask the difficult questions.
Yeah,
it's hard sometimes being a host.
Yeah, we're about positive. It's positive. We're not like that at all. But he just would not say a single negative thing about West Ham. And I just thought, wow, like considering that some of that fan base hounded you out, and considering what you did for them and for, the way they ended, I just was like, wow, he would not say a thing. He was just so calm. And yeah, like with an aura around him, sometimes people walk into the studio and there is an aura about them. I mean, we had Kenny Dalglish on the podcast. Like that was something else. That man walked into the studio and the air changed. Like
that was really a moment when everyone was like,
oh, that was one of those. Yeah. Also the studio was full. Everybody came out the woodwork that day. People from the production company.
Calling sick last week.
Yeah, suddenly there, like so and so had to come from the sponsors. And, yeah,
that's cool. That he's got that calmness about him. I see that in his press conferences.
Yeah,
I want to bring it back to your career, and I want to ask a question straight directly to you, like I have been the whole pod. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received throughout your whole career? And I mean, modelling, broadcasting, presenting.
Oh, wow. That's a really good
question. Think about it. Take your time.
All right. Hold on. Let me think about it for a second.
This is the nature of this pod. Yes. We're never going to cut anything. We're always just natural.
I think probably, I'm trying to think like in the wording of it, like I can't think in the wording of it, but people have often said to me, like, you just like, it's like Nike in it. Just do it. Just do it. If you want, that's it. Yeah, it was Nike once said to me, just do it. It is take a chance, go for it, like take one step at a time. Like for me, when it was, you want to be a presenter full time. Like I remember I said to my dad, so I'm going, so you have to picture this. I'm going through a divorce. It's the middle of COVID.
I'll close my eyes and picture it.
Right.
Okay.
You're going through a divorce. You've got a 2-year-old. It's the middle of COVID. Your dad's visiting you from Scotland and he's clearly carrying the weight in the world of seeing how upset his daughter is. You walk down, you're selling your house. So you're going through all of that. You walk downstairs, you look in your dad's eye and you say, Dad, I'm going to quit my 9-to-5 job and I'm going to become a presenter. The look on my poor dad's face.
He was like, no, this isn't the right time.
But he didn't say that.
What did he say?
Okay, right, well.
I support you.
We'll make it work, right? And what's next? Like, so it's like, take the chance, like, go for it. And if it doesn't happen, then work it out then.
If you don't mind me asking, you didn't take the jump until you were in the middle of your divorce?
Yeah.
So do you think you wouldn't be where you are today if you didn't get divorced?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yes. I think sometimes you've got to hit rock bottom before you go back up.
You wouldn't be where you are today without the divorce.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
And COVID.
And COVID, of course, it all plays in. But that's such a big change in life. And you flipped it onto its head and said, no, I'm taking this as a positive.
Definitely. You've got to.
So you've got to look at such a negative in your life and look at it as a positive.
Oh, I've got it. The piece of advice I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. It clicked off that. Now I've got to remember the exact wording. So you can't, so it's something about like you can't control, don't get upset about the things that you can't control, focus on the things that you can control. So in that point, I couldn't control that I was going through a divorce. I couldn't control COVID. I couldn't control all those things. But what I could do is control how you react to things. You can control how you react to things. And that's something that I carry every day. Like even with the trolling and the work and, you can't control those things. What you can control is how you react to them.
That's so self-disciplined.
Yes.
That's so cool.
I don't do it every day. Yeah.
It's so cool though.
Yeah.
So cool listening to someone, you said you were 41?
41, I'm 42 in a month.
You're 41, you've been in the game a lot longer than me. You're learning your experience. It's so cool to hear. Yet you can still go through struggles even though the older you get, but there's still ways to deal with it no matter the situation.
Yeah, definitely.
For a lot of young women and men coming into the media world, what's one thing you'd tell them?
I think you get a thick skin. You have to get a thick skin. You have to. It's the hardest
That
thing in the
internet
world.
ain't no joke.
It's no, and like I said, this week my skin was thin as paper, like this. But other weeks it's like it's you cannot touch me. Like you cannot touch me. But
yeah, you're invincible. You're like, well, you know, we're winning every week.
Yeah,
you ain't got shit on me, boy.
But you know, this week I've been paper thin. But you have to learn to be resilient because the knockbacks are constant in this business. They're not, you know, everybody wants to do this now. The competition is high. Although
competition is so high.
I have to say as well that's another piece of advice. Nobody is your competition.
Oh, true.
You have to know, if I get a job, it is because I am the right person for the job, not because the next person was better than me. I just wasn't right for it.
Let's talk about that. Because as self-employed, I don't know if you are. You know,
freelance,
self-employed, you can compare yourself to other creatives or other freelancers or other presenters.
Yeah.
But that's not the right thing to do.
No, mate.
Because you'll never, ever be... Comparison is the thief of joy.
100%.
And when you're comparing yourself to someone who looks different compared to you or speaks different compared to you, you could analyse yourself so much to a point where you become mentally not well and don't like yourself. And it's so important what you've just said. Don't compare yourself to others if you haven't got the job.
Yep.
How did you get that? How did you learn through the hard way by comparing yourself?
That's it. You just learn. I think just through modelling and life experiences, you just learn that. And I just really believe that what is for me is going to come to me. And I'm nowhere near where I want to be in my career. Nowhere near. Like, I love and appreciate what I do, but I want to do more. Like, I want to be on one of the main broadcasters. I want to talk about all football, not just City. Yes, I'm a City fan and I have the dream job, but I just love football and I can talk about all football. Like, I'm nowhere near where I want to be and it'll come to me. You know, if somebody else is doing the job that I want to do right now, it's because it's
their time.
Yep.
Your time's, it's already happened in the future. It's just coming.
Definitely.
So cool that when you're saying you want to do more.
Yeah.
My next question is like, what is in the pipeline for you? What do you want to do? Like, expand on that for me. What does the future look like?
Yeah, well, I do the reporting for TalkSport, which I absolutely love because I've already said I get to go around.
You do
and
a
watch
lot
football.
right now.
Yeah, I do, mate. It's great. It's great.
You do
I'm
a
knackered,
lot.
but it's great. I love it. My out and out dream, and I'm dead comfortable saying it because I say it to my agent all the time, is like, I want to have my own show on TalkSport. I want to present mainstream football on TNT or Sky.
Cool.
I want to be involved in all of the big sporting events. Like, it's not just football that I love. Like, I love rugby. I love,
so cool.
like, I'll watch I love live sport. I love boxing. I love, everybody loves the darts at the minute. Like, I want to
Everyone loves the darts because of Littler.
Everyone.
It's because of Littler.
Yeah. Everyone loves the darts right now. So I want to do more. That's what I want to do. I want to do more.
It's so nice hearing that because someone who's achieved so much, sometimes you could say, have you lost the hunger a little bit? But for me, when I look at you, even though you've achieved so much, you've still got so much more hunger.
Yeah.
You're hungry for success.
Yeah, mate. It's the imposter syndrome, because I've had it for most of my life. It's dimming, like it's getting less and less and less. The older I get, and maybe that's something that comes with age, the older I get, the more secure I am in myself and my talent. And I'm definitely at the point in myself where I'm comfortable to say, like, I really could present Sky. Like, if you put me in a 4:30 on a Sunday.
That's so cool to say.
I could do it. I know I could do it. So I'm at a point in my life where I can say that. Having said it, if you dropped me in, I'd stand there with the worst imposter syndrome.
You'd have nerves.
Yeah.
But that's so cool to say. You back yourself so much. You could be put in any zone right now and you would smash it.
Yes. And I just need the one chance. So I keep saying to my agent, one big chance and I'm going to fly.
This could be it. Someone could watch this right now.
I appreciate you.
And people are just like, we need her. We want her.
Yeah.
And when that chance comes, I want you to message me and be like, it's come.
Do you know what I'll do that Sammy Smodics didn't? I'll give you something. I was going to say 5% there, but we probably need to negotiate.
Whoa! I want 5%. Wow. I will take 5%. You said it here first. No, there's no contract and agreements. Everyone chill. I'm not suing no one. You've been a fantastic guest today.
Thanks, mate.
You've been so good. And I feel like you're so used to sometimes being at this side of the couch and interviewing people.
Yeah.
I feel like give yourself some love, man. Give yourself some credit.
Thank you.
You know, what you've went through, not everyone goes through. Some people do. Some people survive and some people obviously struggle a lot more. You need to give yourself some credit.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me on. And your content, honestly, mate, you have to keep doing it. And I wish you all the success. I hope you get millions and millions of followers, because we need more people on social media whose primary goal is spreading positivity.
Positive.
Yeah,
I get it. I've got some quick fire questions before we end. Okay. Who would win in a penalty shootout? Erling Haaland or Sam Allardyce?
Oh, okay. Sam Allardyce right now at 70?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say Erling.
Who would be the worst jockey in the Man City squad?
Oh, it would be, again, it might be Erling Haaland because he's so big,
tall.
just because he's so tall.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Okay, flip it. Who would be the best jockey?
I'm thinking of someone tiny, like, I think Savinho probably.
Maybe Silva?
Like yes. Yeah, definitely. Foden? Maybe Silva. Yeah, any of them. They're agile and small. And
you've got to have that build, haven't you?
Yes, definitely. And they've got to be fearless as well, like going at that speed and going at, so Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, definitely. Fearless, yeah. Okay, I like that. This question's so good, you know.
Okay.
If you had to let one person style your hair for TV, Jack Grealish or Phil Foden?
Oh, Jack Grealish, definitely, 100%.
Not Phil.
God bless Phil. I love him. What? Like, I don't want.
What if he gave you that just straight fringe?
Thank you. I should say him because he's from Stockport and that's where I grew up. But no.
Imagine if it was that one time, that chance you got, and it was like, Phil, you've got to do me hair, and he give you that trim. Not against it. I think it's perfect. I just think it'd be so funny. Yeah. Or what if Jack just like slicked your hair all the way back?
I like wearing my hair slicked back. I'm good with it.
Just all the way back though, like, and yeah. And then what would you do if like he cut it? Is that a no-go?
Yeah, that would be a no-go, Jack. Yeah, I don't mind the headband or the gel.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can float with that.
You know, my Reggie went into the hairdressers last summer and asked for a Jack Grealish.
Did he get it?
Oh, God, yeah, he looked adorable. He also looked like a teenager. It was scary. He had it all long and then short at the... Yeah, so grown up.
Oh, my. Last one. Blind ranking. Okay. Man City haircuts.
Okay. Oh, okay, this is serious. I like this. Okay.
Okay, so obviously 1 being the best, 5 being...
Yeah.
Not the best, should we say.
Okay.
Okay, first, Erling Haaland.
I mean, it's a good, strong look. All the kids are doing it now. There's a good few Erling Haalands in Reggie's school. I'm going to go 3.
Oh, that's so safe. John Stones.
Oh, that's just a classic, good classic.
That's why I've put him in there. Cut. It matters where you put him right now, because it's a classic cut and a lot of people have got it.
It's a classic, yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to say 4. I want some creativity. I'm here for it. Yeah, I'm here for it. I want something mad. I'm waiting for Jack.
Jack Grealish?
1.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's your haircut, isn't it? That's your hairstyle.
Well, do you know what? I have to say that because Reggie's never asked for, any other haircut. Reggie's never asked for a Phil Foden.
So what Reggie likes is king,
yeah,
really.
and loads of the kids want it.
So we've got 2 and 5 left.
Okay.
Phil Foden.
Oh, God. Can I just repeat again that I love Phil Foden? He is a really nice person and an incredible footballer, but it's 5.
I was about to say, where do you put him, Natalie? You were building that up. Unlucky, Phil.
Okay.
It is
Sorry,
what
Phil.
it is.
Sorry, Phil.
You know,
love you.
You love your haircut. Not everyone does. It's fine. And then last but not least, Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh, new Kev. Number 2, easy. Yes. Post-injury Kev with the flowing locks. Looks about 10 years younger. I might have put him as 1, if I'd have thought about that.
Sorry, you can't change it.
Yeah.
That is great, though.
Yeah.
Natalie, where do people find you? Shout yourself out. Go everywhere.
So No Tippy Tappy Football Podcast with Sam Allardyce. That is weekly as a podcast and as a YouTube show. And you get me on Instagram, Natalie Pike Presenter. And I'm on TikTok as well, but I don't post there as much. I need to get better on TikTok as well.
Short form's king.
I know. I need to get more onto TikTok. It's just such a hateful place.
It can be, but just don't look at the comments. Get someone else to upload for you.
And do you know what? I've got a friend that helps me go through the comments and reply to them and look at DMs so that I don't need to open the DMs because there's always a danger opening DMs.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It can be nasty sometimes.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
Amazing.
It's lovely to meet you. Thank you so much.